Am I the only one who still misses on the iPhones, like the AV jack, like the headphone jack, the real jack, like jack, jack? I I never have the little adapter thing to actually ever hook anything up, and so I never have a microphone, and so it's all yeah, it's a big old thing, but that has nothing to do with the video. It's just, my current frustrations. And yeah, I'm going to tell you all about the video in just a moment, but before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and today is day 242 of 365 days of soap, and we are rounding out the beer series that we've been doing in the last 242 days, and we are making the spicy orange. Now, the spicy orange is made out of an IPA as well as an orange juice, which is super cool and awesome. And it's kind of awesome because you have like double the amount of sugars that are going into the batch, which means a super big epic bubble. And I'm definitely here for that. So let's go watch the making of the spicy orange, and we can talk all about how you incorporate orange juice as well as beer into your soap batches, now.
Okay, so really short video, and I did not put the lye thing in, which I really should have, but never fear, in a couple weeks that will be included in the lye do's and don'ts video that we are going to be doing during the Christmas break time, and so you'll get to see that. Now notice the chunky bits in there. I am soaping this super cool, which means my solid oils have sort of solidified in the solution, in the oils, and they're kind of floating and doing their thing. The lye solution is a mixture of orange juice and beer, and so it's 50% OJ, it's 50% beer, because we are doing a spicy orange IPA for this. Now I am doing this intentionally at this point because the lye, when I put it in, it was super hot. Like, it was sitting at like 160 degrees, and I needed to soap. I had like 10 minutes before I had to leave the shop, and I knew I had to get this done. And so I intentionally did not heat my oils to really anything. I poured from my master batch for my beer soaps, which is the Lots of Lather blend, and left all of the chunky bits sort of in place because I knew that with a very hot lye solution, it would melt everything down. So that's what we were working with, and look in the final finished cut and see. Can you tell? Is it fine? It's fine. It's fine. There are rules that you can totally break in the soap making world, and one of them is the temperature of your lye, but you have to be smart about it. If you are heating up your oils to be too terribly hot, and you're working with too terribly hot lye, it can be problematic. The biggest reason why you should ever let your lye solution cool down to below 120 degrees, honestly, is to minimize the risk of a secondary burn, right? Because you have a caustic that you're working with your lye, so that's, a caustic burn. And then also if you soap at, 180, 200 degrees, like it is when you first pour your lye into your water, you're dealing with potential heat burn. And so that's the real reason you should, especially for something like this, such a simple pour, it's a simple design, that's the real reason you should let your lye cool down. And that is orange peel powder that is going in there for the exfoliant, because we're going to drive the point home that it is an orange peel, that is an orange, spicy orange soap. And the scent blend is actually really delightful. So it's a nice beer blend that I've made along with some blood orange and some clove, a little bit of cardamom. It's one of my best sellers in the beer line for sure. But yes, so if you are working like this with overly hot lye, I tend to work with overly cool oils, and it all comes out in the mix. Quite literally, it comes out in the mix right now, because look how smooth and delightful that batter is. Let's go pour it. God, I love the beer soap videos, how like short they are, because there's not a lot that goes into it. It's all the prep work at the back end. So it's mixing the line, doing the things, and all of the jazz. And so this is a 2-layer pour for me. So the bottom part is the orange, because the lye water in and of itself yielded a little bit of an orange anyway because of the OJ and the beer. And so yeah, it's a spicy orange IPA, so it should be orange and orange peel powder, all of the things. The theme continues. And so I reserved, about, I don't know, like 13% of the total oils, or the total soap batter rather, to then color white in the top portion. The kaolin clay has been dispersed within the scent blend, because it's easiest to incorporate it that way, and for this particular pour. And so, you know, that's what we're doing, and that's what's going in that guy, as well as the titanium dioxide, to ensure that we get a really good white at the top. Because again, all of my beer soaps, reasonably simplistic in their design, which I love because I love the simple designs. But for the top portion, I really want to make sure that it's actually white, like the foam, like the head of a beer, right? When it's just untapped or poured from the tap, or all of that. Can you believe it's funny the way that I talk about alcohol, because I was actually, for a hot minute when we lived in California, I was a bartender, and that was just, and it's humorous to me how little I actually know about alcohol, because I was a freaking bartender. Yeah, so yeah, this is going to be I'm not being careful. I'm not trying to ensure that the top layer does not break down into the bottom. If it doesn't, that's fine, but if it does, that's great. And so that's why I poured the first swoop from one end to the other of the mold very, very heavy and very, very high, because I do kind of want a little swoop in a point, you know, throughout the bar, because it doesn't, you know, when you're pouring beer, it's very rarely a perfect line from foam to not, you know, whatever. And so that's always kind of been my thing with the beer soaps in general. Now, this will need to set up for a few minutes before I put in, before I sculpt the top. I do like a nice sculpted top on this, just to give it some, I don't know, interest. And so it's not just a perfectly rectangular bar, really, to, again, we're mimicking a glass of beer. And so after it's set up for about 10 minutes or so, I then just take a spoon and sculpt the sides up into the middle using, you know, the back of the spoon to do that, which is a very simple process for a, you know, soap top, but it creates just such a stunning, beautiful end bar. And again, going with the soaps that have sort of an easy design, and doing something like that, it becomes incredibly stunning. Like the pine coal tar soap that I made a couple months ago is a prime example of that. It's such a gorgeous bar, but literally all it was just a beautiful jet black with the pine coal tar, and it was delightful. It was all so good. And so this is going to go into the oven to be C-popped and gelled and all of that jazz. I'm not super worried about it overheating because of the alcohols or the sugars from the OJ, because I don't super care about a cracked top. But if you do care about a cracked top, then you should, you know, definitely not C-pop it. But let's go check out this cut and see what we're working with inside. All right, and onto the cut, and look how shiny and gorgeous that loaf of soap is. That is so beautiful. It is so smooth and shiny and just perfect across the board. There are no signs of, you know, having not fully melted solid oils kind of hanging out in the batter being problematic at all. And that's the thing. Like that's the whole, and that one's a super straight cut, right? And you see the orange peel powder that's hanging out in there for the exfoliants. That's super beautiful, good texture there, as well as the kaolin, because again, it was dispersed in the scent blend. So that's a thing. Love it. But yeah, no, that's with soaps, like the soaping rules and all of the things that you should always do, like that is something that I have heard way too many times in my soap making journey. People having seen something, because like the soap queen said, always, always, well, she didn't say always, always. She just said, wait for your lye to cool down to 120 degrees. And therefore, everybody takes that to mean you have to soap when your lyes hit 120 degrees. Well, no, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can soap hotter and you can soap colder. And for the most part, most of my soaps are cooler. And that's the orange peel powder that's like, sometimes it does weird things, but in the cure it ends up being really beautiful, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, no, that is you don't have to follow these rules to the letter. Even when it comes to alcohol soaps, you still create really epic, soaps. These have been in the line for, 5-6 years at this point, and they're best sellers. They're really great.
One of the benefits of having a prop in a video is that I have something to play with the entire time I'm doing this. And that's also one of the negatives, because then I'm just showing you how twitchy I am on a normal basis. But yeah, prop, cool. Spicy orange beer soap, also cool. Yeah, it's a really simple pour. It's definitely something that a lot of soapers tend to steer away from, the incorporating alcohols into their soap, but you super shouldn't. It's not really that frightening. In and of itself, soap making in general is not really that frightening. I just think people like to pretend that it is, so our market remains super exclusive, and it's not. It's all good fun, and we had a lot of fun making the spicy orange today. If you are interested in the spicy orange soap, you can totally find it on the website at soapandclay.com, along with any of the other beer soaps that we have. So that would be cool. If you are interested in seeing what we do for the rest of the year, really, because the end of December is interesting, and I actually do have some really fun videos that I'm wanting to do, so I hope I get them out to you. Some like really in-depth tutorials and like weird shit soapers say and all the jazz. So you should subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when I drop those videos, and that would be cool. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, as always, thank you. You are excellent. I am still busy working on getting all of your orders, packed up and shipped from Small Business Saturday, so they're coming to you soon, I super promise. It's a lot. So yes, again, thank you for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I appreciate you as always, and I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.